when we talk about, we got to get into more into hip hop, even though this really isn't even about hip hop, relatively speaking. And this happened a while ago at this point, but I always feel it's at the perfect time to talk about it when no one else is talking about it. But y'all may or may not have heard about this. Cenat and Adin Ross go off on Joe Budden for bashing streamers. And I think it was Kai that said I could buy you. So I guess I'll read a bit about it so you can get the context. So Joe Budden recently went off, like he's typically doing, on somebody on streamers after Cenat gave his opinion after Killer Mike winning a Grammy for the best rap albums on Sunday. So this is around Grammy season. Salute to Killer Mike. He did such a phenomenal thing by getting that Grammy. I think he won a couple Grammys, but like getting a Grammy and if you really appreciate hip hop, if you really appreciate like rap and how much of a dope rapper and type rap style like Killer Mike does, you were very much appreciative of how he was able to get that. But he was up against albums like a Travis Scott, Drake's. I think even Metro Boomin was on there. So he was up against people that like arguably are a bit more popular, and some people were surprised that he took the award, even though it's the Grammys. So it's like, who cares about the Grammys? But that's just a wrong time frame to give you some context. In a clip surfacing on social media, Cenat shared that he felt Travis Scott's Utopia should have won Rap Album of the Year instead of Killer Mike, Michael. I don't know if y'all recall that or people recall that, but yeah, Kai streams a lot and he, gives his opinion on, stuff going on. And obviously, while we appreciate Killer Mike here, not everyone's gonna know or even have listened to the Killer Mike's music. But everyone started with Travis, everyone started with Drake, everyone started with Metro Boomin. Just to give some examples. Scroll down. What we have is a case of old ninja syndrome, Kai said about Joe Budden. So this was after, which I guess now the first clip, you can go to the first clip. I think the first clip was actually Joe Budden, what he originally said after Kai said that, Cenat said that Travis should have won. So let's hear what Joe Budden originally said. No, not the first one, but the first one in this thing.
Calm the fuck down, everybody. Calm the fuck down.
Listen to young niggas.
I don't know who this is, okay? Hey, brother. God bless you. Congratulations. I don't know who you are. Positivity, you. Praying for you, bro. Positivity out the window. Who decided this motherfucker? Who the fuck decided this motherfucker? Hello, Utopia. Stop.
Yes, nigga. Yeah, neither of those are better than Michael. Over Utopia.
Metro Boomin!
Shut your ass up, no, nigga. Yo, y'all little streamer niggas don't always run shit. Shut the fuck up.
Some people don't give a fuck about your numbers.
Yeah, we don't care about none of that little streamy mosh pit, marked card, whatever you niggas is doing over there.
And let's keep it a buck. Parks, you said it. Utopia was mid, yo.
Yeah.
You didn't deserve to win.
Oh, listen to this guy.
Oh, we don't need to hear that again. Jesus. Audio warnings all up and down that. I'll obviously, if you're watching the live stream, you're going to get it loud as we got it, but I'll tone it down in an actual video. Anyway, so yeah, that actually gave context. That's what Kai said loudly, and that's what Joe said loudly. So, after that, Kai, who's gotten super big in the culture, especially recently, he responded to what Joe Budden said. So let's hear what the response was.
They talk about me, so let's talk about them. This is what we have here is a case of old nigga syndrome, my nigga. Listen to me. I'm a 22-year-old young adult who likes to sit in his room and naturally, like everybody else, react to music and things like that. Okay? If I think fucking Spider-Man should have won Superhero of the Year, but you think Green Lantern should have won, and Green Lantern wins, nigga, okay, it's your opinion. I'm not familiar with Killer Mike. I was just saying, I felt like Utopia and shit should have won. Bro, why did I feel like, y'all start talking about Stop talking about streaming niggas, bro. Stop doing that, bro. Like, we some little niggas, my nigga. I would buy you, my nigga. Do you understand that, bro? Do you understand that, my nigga? You say it don't come off as hating, but you always... They talking about...
You know, this has nothing to do with nothing. I don't even like listen to me, but I recently kind of came to the conclusion that because I'm so against like yelling, I think I lost the ability to yell. like, I like my max volume. It really doesn't really eclipse. I really hope I'm never in a situation where I have to really yell. You know, it's even weirder, and maybe I'm totally against. Don't listen to me, so it probably really shouldn't be too much response. I think I identified that the brother from Dune, I don't know, the lead guy, I think he's the same way. Like, I know there was like some parts where he, you know, raised his voice. I recently watched Wonka, where he was the main guy too, and like every scene where he has to like yell, I
kind of understand.
Maybe I'm putting this on a brother that doesn't deserve it, but I can tell that they had to do those scenes multiple times because the way he can't yell for long. I know he can't do that, and the way he does it, his voice like will go up, but it won't like stay at that level. It'll like spike, but not for long. There's nothing to do with nothing. I'll just say audio levels are a bit higher. But anyway, this was Kai's response. I don't want to get too much into it until you all get all the context, but I will say it's not the worst. It's not the best look when you say I'm not familiar with somebody that did better than the person that you think should win, because that just means the metric of why you deem, or a part of the metric of why you deem the other the person that you think should win is because you are more familiar and because it's a more popularity contest, which maybe you think the Grammys should, but I think some people would argue the Grammys are more about the quality. Anyway, and then Adin Ross jumped in as well, and he commented on Joe Budden's what he said about Kai and streamers, I guess, in theory.
Joe Budden, every single time that I see you or a clip of you, it's just on some hating shit, bro. I'm gonna be honest, bro. I don't know what you do. I can't even name one Joe Budden song respectfully. I know you used to rap. I'm gonna just be the honest as shit, bro. Like, you're one of these old heads that just hate. Why can't you be more like Rick Ross or Snoop Dogg, the OGs that are cool as fuck and just like respect and show flowers and appreciation towards all the young motherfuckers and shit? Yo, I ain't gonna lie, bro. You have no room to talk, no room to speak. You know what I'm saying? Lay your opinions about me and Kai to ourselves. Me and Kai are 10 times more richer than you and you will ever be, old man. And we're more humble than you and we're nicer than you. You're obviously a very salty old man. You have nothing going on for yourself. So you try to now hate on the young motherfuckers that are more successful than you. Listen, man, I know you're getting old and you got to pay your bills and shit because Social Security's coming up and your check's probably not going to be looking too good. So you got to make some money now, talk about streamers and shit. But Joe Budden, every
every clip was worse than the last one.
Oh, really? You know, I don't want to say nothing, but like, and I really want to say my opinion. I really want to hear what y'all have to say, but it is always such a bad. I understand we all. I don't want to say we all do. I think I was very conscious even earlier. I understand to some degree all people at some point in time will like make fun of old people or like comment on an age thing, but first of all, age is a blessing, and second of all, everyone's gonna get old. It's like it's not even. It's like the joke you really shouldn't make because it's applicable. It's gonna happen to you. But anyway, so as you can see throughout 16, it really became less about who should have rightfully quote unquote should have won the Grammys, and it became this literally age old back and forth about what older people like and perceive to be acceptable and what younger people like and deem to be acceptable. That's basically what I get from it. Just like younger folks and older folks going back and forth with one another, and we're getting off base of what we were actually talking about. So, but I mean, I guess you could say it was entertaining, unless you don't like loud things like me. But anyway, what do y'all think of this? It's not really anything to deep dive fully on. Like, this happened a while ago at this point, but it is like this rears its head like every now and then. Like a young artist or a young person will beef with a newer one, and again, it was really about music originally, or who should have won the Grammys, but then it turned into like I mean, Joe Budden did point out some like you streamers, you young streamers don't really run things like you think you do. Kind of like that was kind of an overall broad thing. That's so you could say he took it outside of just the original conversation originally, but either way, where do y'all land on the old versus the young generation type of dynamic in debate? Do y'all think one side does have more, not authority, but more of a correct point, or where do you side, or do you side on the matter? We'll start with the younger. What do you think, Ghost?
Man, honestly, like all three of them kind of came off as clowns.
Damn.
Honestly, they all had.
Go over to the first part of it, Ace.
They all were equally valid or invalid in their own ways. And I don't know if the intent is more so just like a general old versus young, or specifically related to this issue, but
more in general.
It's like Joe Budden he's correct. His take was correct. The way he came across, and I think the way a lot of older people come across, for better or for worse, is kind of dismissive and I'm trying to think of a better word. Dismissive, I guess, is the best I can come up with right now.
Mm-hmm.
Of younger people in general, their takes, their status in society, blah blah blah. I'm not gonna get too deep into whether it's valid or not, but it's like Kai Cenat's response is, I understand it, and the whole "I can buy you" thing is a little weird, but it's also valid because they're kind of
someone that has less money than you've never been talking to you, and you just thought for a second, like, bro, if I wanted to, I could buy you.
Yeah, I get it. It's I usually like stuff like that, like money things in particular. It's like I don't pay too much stock in, but they are kind of in the same entertainment. I don't want to say field, but
they literally do the same thing. Just because one person does more of a formatted podcast and one person does more of a free for all stream, they really are. They really have the same occupation.
So like, if you're doing the same thing and you're doing it better and you're that much richer, then yeah, you kind of got room to talk shit. But it's like,
what is the metric of doing it better? Is it purely the income you generate?
I mean, income, followers.
Oh, okay, yeah. Your general influence. Yeah.
I'm hesitant to say clout because Kai Cenat's literally like the biggest streamer on the planet right now.
Yeah.
But his content is so grating to me because of the yelling.
Yeah. Oh my. Let's not get into the specifics.
Yeah.
Although I guess do you put more of a significance on whether somebody's been doing it for longer or whether somebody's became the biggest?
For me, it's like I don't care either way. If I'm going to listen to something or a podcast or a streamer, it just boils down to if they're good or not. But in an argument, if I was Kai Cenat, I would most certainly be bringing this up because I'm younger and I have more success in a shorter period of time than you have, and you had a head start. That's the way I would look at it.
Okay. So you would say like the becoming the bigger is more significant. Because one could say, and I don't perceive this for Kai, but I think a potential thing that some younger streamers could come across is the type of content they create is not necessarily sustainable. Like, I don't know if a person doing what Kai Cenat is doing could do that 10 years and 10 years later, and once you start having kids and once you start having a family, if that, like, your audience may not 1-to-1 scale with you as you get older. Joe Budden, on the other hand, he can do this podcast and shit for how in his format. He can do it till he dies. He's already kind of in the old man kind of grumpy caricature. So he can continue to do that like forever. So so that's why I think somebody can make the case is that like the fact that Joe Budden's already kind of established and he's been established for better half. I mean, I've been watching the Joe Budden podcast since I was in damn near high school. I think I think someone can make the argument that it's a significant thing.
Yeah, you're right, and it kind of just boils down to which side do you fall on. It's like sports debates. You could argue the GOAT in one era versus GOAT in another, and like it really doesn't matter. Like, to be honest, like they're both extremely like top 5 most successful podcasters. I don't know if I call Joe Budden top 5 entertainer, but they're both crazy popular, doing what they do well. Like I really don't care about the specifics, to be honest. Like I'm not trying to rank them.
Do you think older folks in general, and maybe I don't want to be too specific on this, but you think old folks in general and what Joe Budden was doing was hating? Do you think that is like a true stereotype that older folks would just tend to just hate for no reason?
I think they do tend to hate more relative to younger people, but a lot of the hate is valid, so I think it balances out. Like his goal wasn't to necessarily attack Kai Cenat, more so Kai Cenat's opinion, but the way he said it made it seem like he was.
What did he say again? You young streamers don't run shit.
Yeah, I guess maybe I can't cut him any slack. Like if I had to side with someone, it would be him, because Utopia was a very, very mid album, like unquestionably in my opinion.
Yeah, we listened to that shit. It was the Kanye the
Kanye ripoff.
Yeah.
But it's like he didn't have to necessarily make it about Isonet. But it's like I'm.
It's fine. You could be like just slightly on a side that you don't even really care about or to be on, because they're both kind of tweaking.
Yeah, it's just old people and young people both suck. So I'm like, I really.
Dang, not everybody sucks.
Okay, too much.
What about you, Ace, the older one here? Do you fall on any particular side here? Do you think old people be hating in general, and young people need to calm yourselves, or you think old people are the ones that need to be more accepting and young people need to be a bit more realistic? I don't know if that's the right word to put into it.
I mean, this is. I wish it was that easy or clear cut, like there was a one or the other. But this is truly a case where both were wrong in pretty much the same way, just in terms of being.
How would Joe Budden wrong?
But in terms of being dismissive about the streamers and their almost like the relevance of their platform.
Yeah.
I think it's just where it went too far. It was like, if we were just talking in terms of the music, then I think, yes, you made a great point that that dismissing Killer Mike's album because you're not familiar with it doesn't really make sense unless you think the Grammy should be a popularity contest. Like, so from that standpoint, I think like a Joe Budden has, and maybe the people he's with as well, have more of a leg to stand on. But then to just attack the streamers because they expressed an opinion that you don't agree with, and you're attacking them as a group, it's just like, you lost. Like, you already lost. And then for them to come back and make it an old person, young person thing, is like, well, yeah, that was to be expected, because
he did kind of start it.
Like,
yeah. So you side more with the youngers. Why don't you just say it? Yes.
I guess if you, I mean, if
I'm just loading that on you. Sorry.
yeah, if you're gonna say like, yeah, the older people should be more mature and not instigate the younger people, then sure. But
I mean, when we talk about young, we're not talking about late little. No, I guess we could potentially be considering 22-year-olds as kids, but we're all still adults here. We should all be mature, right?
no,
What do you mean, no?
no, I mean that don't necessarily mean they're gonna be. It'll be nice, but they're not gonna be. They're gonna be immature in a lot of ways. I mean, especially compared to an older generation. There's gonna be more immaturity. There's gonna be less life experience. There's gonna be like they're not gonna be as mature.
This is another time and place to go back and forth about that, but isn't there like a base level of maturity that adults have to like fall under?
Sure. There's a base level. I'm just saying they're less mature.
Yes, yeah, which is why it's not nothing to argue because you're not saying they're not like you're not avoiding the responsibility of some level of maturity. No. So I mean, what do y'all think? Do y'all think these type of debates and like frictions are like doomed to continue forever, like old versus new, or do you think we can come to some type of not conclusion, but some type of like there's no need for these old versus young generation debates?
These will literally always continue forever.
Never gonna stop.
But the thing is, let's not be pessimistic here. Do y'all think y'all were ever, or maybe y'all are at a place where y'all look at one generation as inferior, like or one way or the other?
Inferior is kind of crazy.
I mean, that's what it boils down to, like, or typically more correct, or like has more like I don't want to say relevancy, but like is one like a more prominent side, quote unquote.
I mean, it's just when I say forever, I mean as long as the human race continues to exist.
But I'm saying I think and I don't want to say we were able to avoid this because I don't know what y'all full thoughts are, and also I don't know what you would place like quote unquote around like 25 to 35-year-old. I don't know if you would say that's young or old. So that's why it's kind of hard to grasp. But I don't think I've ever heard y'all come out and say like old heads be tweaking or old heads be wilding, and I don't think I hear you. Well, I don't think I hear you guys talking about you all. We do kind of talk some shit about the freshmen double XL.
Yeah, but even outside, I mean, it's not just us. Like we talk about as a whole, do we think it's going to continue? Even if I've matured?
Well, if we can identify why we haven't, I'm loosely saying haven't contributed to a back and forth, maybe we can identify why like there doesn't need to be a back and forth.
Okay, so yeah, let's go down your train of thought here, what you're implying. Why?
Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel as if, like, for the better half of our lives, we've appreciated content and just the generation above us, or generations above us.
Definitely.
And I think now that we're older, we're not completely dismissive of generations and some of the output of the younger generation.
Definitely.
So it seems like we're not contributing to, like, this back and forth forever generational curse of like this battle.
We aren't, but I feel like one way in particular where I'm different in terms of like, I guess you could say, if we just look at the microcosm of music, one way I know I'm different is that I wasn't in a ever in an environment where the music of my quote unquote like my generation or my peers was something that I was like there was any type of peer pressure or anything like that, or even just like like group pressure for me to assimilate into. So there's less of I feel like there's just less of an attachment to my generation's music because of that. So I've listened to the previous generation, I've listened to my generation, I've listened to the younger generation, and I don't have any real attachment. It's just I'm just looking for the quality of the music. So, like, in that way, I think you can't necessarily duplicate my experience for the majority, because the majority of people don't really have that experience.
They do fall into some, maybe it's their group or their influence, where they are more inclined to kind of pick a side of of the genre or generation of music that they're consuming.
Yeah.
You know, and we're just talking about music because that's like they're talking about artists and things of that nature. But that can feed into a lot of other mediums.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't even think you necessarily want to duplicate my experience.
I mean, we don't want this continual back and forth about old heads and young heads, do we?
It might just be something that's like, truly just accept it as a condition of the human experience.
I don't know if I ever want that. I don't know if I mean, obviously, in the grand scheme of this thing, no, it doesn't matter. Nobody's getting hurt. Nobody really. It's not moving. It's not really moving the needle. But I mean, we don't want beef. It's unnecessary beef. Like, you got homeboy screaming in the mic, like top is young. We don't want, or not even homeboy. Both homeboys, because they're both very loud. That's the common denominator for both generations. Loud. What about you, Ghost? Do you think that you at any point felt either generation is like more superior, or do you think you again not contributed to like the beef or the divide?
Honestly, I think both generations, all generations, past, current, future, are all equally trash.
Damn.
I'm an equal opportunity hater, so I don't have any preference, or I'm not gonna put anyone on a pedestal. Like, there's a lot of shit that old people do that really annoys and pisses me off. There's a lot of shit that young people that pisses me off. So I think it's pretty much equal, and there's always going to be a generational divide, generational gap. Like, when I'm older, I'm like, I don't know if I'd say I'm going to look down on the other generation. I'm just there's going to be a lot of stuff that I dislike, and it's not going to be really justified just because I dislike it personally. But I don't think there's going to be, I don't think there's really any superiority.
But it sounds like you're saying you're not going to typically attribute it to because it's not good because it's in this younger generation. You're going to attribute it because you just don't like the quality of it, and you would apply that to older stuff or newer stuff.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, there's going to be some stuff like there's plenty of new stuff now that like that's stupid as shit, but there's plenty of old stuff too.
Even though it's a kind of a drag way to look at it, like kind of like somber. I think you might be on something. I think you got to be kind of just based and be like, no, it's not just the older generation or the younger generation that sucks. There's trash and everything.
Yep.
I think if you kind of balance yourself out like that, then you won't be finding it. You'll be less likely to. You all have me to shut up. You don't know what I'm talking about. You always hating, or the vice versa. Yeah, I'm not mad at that.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't think it's. You're talking about. Sorry, it's not easy to replicate you, Ace. I don't think it's easy to replicate what Ghost got going on. Both people are gonna pick a side, or they're gonna die in the middle. So this is 21 Savage. Fair enough, I guess. 20 more years of beefing. I think that's the age gap between these individuals. Maybe Joe Biden's 50 at this point. Maybe it might be a 25-year-old gap.
He's gotta be 50. There's no way.
Well,
he's 43. Holy shit!
Look at you.
Never mind.
Putting age on people when they don't deserve it. Yeah, it's basically a 20-year gap. A lot can happen in 20 years. But if there's nothing else, we can move on to the next. I think the last topic.